I want to welcome Comrade Jacob Ogodo and other members of the correspondent chapel of NUJ. I welcome all of you. It is on that note that I want to also welcome very specially media executives who are here. Mr. Rex Eze is the General Manager and Chief Executive of 101.5 Unity FM Abakaliki, and also Mr. Eze Kugo Boniface, who is the General Manager and Chief Executive of NTA Abakaliki, the Sunrise Station. GM, you're welcome. And also the Director General of Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, delivering quality service to a greater number, Engineer Timothy Mwachi. I welcome you, sir. I want to also acknowledge the presence of members of Ebonyi State Executive Council. Let me very humbly inform you that Senator Emmanuel Ongwe, Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, is here with us. Honorable Commissioner, once again I welcome you. Distinguished members of Ebonyi State House of Assembly are here. I want to welcome members of the House, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Cletus Nwokoro Foke, on behalf of Executive Council members. I want to welcome you. Please, we need to be seated, please, according to the arrangement put in place. We'd like to also acknowledge the presence of other members of NUJ, particularly the elders of NUJ. Mr. Steve Arefia is a retired director from the Ministry of Information, is here. I welcome you. Director of Information is here with us, Prince Anya Okore. And I would like to also welcome very specially former Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, talking about Mr. Ken Ugo. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you. The lamp. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please may we rise as we welcome your excellencies.
Of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be season refreshing, same from the Savior above. Showers of blessing, showers of blessing we need. Basic us from us afford, for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing. This just remember again over the hills never leave. Sounds of abundance of rain, showers of blessing, showers of blessing within. They see those round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. They see those round us are falling, but for the showers we plead.
Thank you very much. Please, we'll take national anthem once it's 6 p.m. to begin the program. You may please be seated. Your Excellency, Executive Governor of Ebonyi State of Nigeria and Chairman Southeast Governors, Co-Chairman Southern Governors Forum, Engineer Dr. David Mweze Umahi, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Nigerian Association of Technologists in Engineering.
Independence.
Your Excellency, the Mother of the State,
Taking place right now.
the founder and facilitator of Family Circle and Upliftment Foundation, Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Rachel Ogonna Umahi. Your Excellency, we would like to welcome you.
From the station Salt TV FM 98.1 EBBC. The program is the 2018 Independence Day Celebration Media Chats. Like I said, it is taking place at the banquet hall here at the Government House at Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. My name is Vivian Faga, and I want to welcome you.
To once again give account of his stewardship. His Excellency is a transparent leader who believes in transparency and honesty. Please, can we put our hands together for His Excellency, our Governor? Your Excellency, the Chairman of NUJ, Comrade Veronica Osim, is represented in this event by the Secretary of the Council, Comrade Tony Mweze. Mr. Chairman, you're most welcome.
Reaching you from the stables of Salt TV
My
and Salt
colleagues,
FM 98.1 EBBC.
The
Program is the 2018
Elders of
Independence Day
NUJ,
Celebration Media
Elders
Interaction,
of the
taking place right here in the banquet hall of the Government House at Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. My name is Vivian Faga. You are welcome.
And his deputy who are here with us. The wife of Mr. Speaker would like to welcome you to this event. Once it's 6 p.m., the program will start. Your Excellency, we have here the editor, Deli Son, Onoha Uke, is also a member of the panel. Mr. Dan Ede of the Federal Road Radio Corporation of Nigeria is also here. Mr. Dotun Oladipo, who is the publisher of Eagle Online and President Guild of Corporate Online Publishers. Mr. Chuks Akuna, Executive Director of the Authority Newspapers. Mr. Shola Oyeyebo, who is the Deputy Political Editor of This Day Newspapers. Mr. Kunle Abimbola is a member of the Editorial Board. Mr. Ezokugo Boniface is the General Manager and Chief Executive of NTA. Mr. Ayodele Ojo, who is the editor of the News Telegraph, is also here. Kunle Abimbola is the member of editorial board or weekly columnist of the Nation's newspaper. I want to welcome all of you, including the General Manager of FRCN 101.5 Unity FM, Mr. Rex Eze. You are most welcome. Thank you very much. In the next Thank you very much. The time is 6 p.m. May we rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In Ebonyi State, we believe in the efficacy of prayers. May I therefore invite Pastor Peter Okutu to please give us opening prayer. Pastor Okutu, please.
Shall we pray? In Jesus' name we pray. Oh Lord, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together. We thank you because of this moment of interaction, our Excellency want to do. We thank you, Lord, for this period of celebration as it concerns Nigeria and also Ebonyi State. We commit all that we do here today into your hands. We pray you take absolute control. Guide our governor, give him grace to keep piloting the affairs of this state to a greater height. Thank you, Lord, for hearing this prayer. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Your Excellency, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, by the program, it is now time to hand over to the panel. And it is on that note that I would like to hand over to Rex Eze to take it from here. My name is Monde Ozo.
Thank you very much, Monde Ozo. You're all welcome to this to mark the 58th independent anniversary of Nigeria and 22 years of the creation of Ebonyi State. Your Excellency, you're welcome. We know the tradition. We first allow His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Chief David Umahi, to address us. After that, we follow up with questions. Your Excellency, you are now invited to address us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, my dear wife. Your Excellency, Deputy Governor, your wife. Your Excellency, the First Executive Governor of Ebonyi State. Our dear Speaker and your wife, and Deputy Speaker and your wife. Our media executives, the National Assembly members, State Assembly members, ESCO members, House of Assembly members, the elders of the state, the founding fathers that are here with us, the chairman of local governments, our coordinators, senior technical assistant, technical assistants, my dear brothers and sisters. I first want to thank the media executives that came all the way from Lagos and some from Anambra State, and in fact all over the country, to be here and to celebrate with us. I also thank Senator Onwe and the Chief Press Secretary that put this together. Let me start by saying congratulations to Nigerians and also to Ebonyi people. Nigeria today, or in October 1st, shall be 58 years old, and Ebonyi State will be 22 years old. And so it is with a heart full of joy and gratitude to God that I stand here to congratulate you and you all on the occasion of this year's twin anniversaries of Nigeria's independence and the creation of our state, Ebonyi. Respectively, to the glory of God, Nigeria is 58, while Ebonyi State is 22 by October 1st. The descent of the Union Jack and the hoisting of Nigerian flag on October 1st, 1960 marked the independence of Nigeria. But to us in Ebonyi State, the freedom we collectively had as a nation in 1960 was only formal until October 1st, 1996. As I congratulate you once again for your resilience and faith, which more than anything else has sustained our corporate Nigeria, I urge Nigerians to still be very prayerful and have confidence in God for the corporate existence and unity of our dear country, Nigeria. The struggle that defined our collective freedom was fought and won by you and I. Indeed, at a time in our history as a people, we were confronted with various challenges that tested not just of our faith, but our collective ingenuity in the struggle for self-actualization, a great departure from self-pity, a situation we ab initio found ourselves. To say the least, the struggle brought about the change and development we are witnessing today. Through God's benevolence and direction, we have collectively lived the dreams of the founding fathers of this great state. Today we celebrate the founding fathers. We also celebrate the past two military administrators and celebrate the past two civilian governors, especially His Excellency Dr. Sam Ominyegu, who laid irreversible foundation for free education, for freedom, for oneness, for unity in our dear state, Ebonyi. And so, we also celebrate the founding fathers that are alive, and we continue to pray that God will find mercy upon those who have departed to be with our God. And so today, we have a duty as an administration to give an account of how far we have entrenched the visions of our founding fathers. And this has always been through the dividends of democracy. But let me say that dividends of democracy, especially for a very young state like ours that is being highly challenged, it's not all about bridges and roads, but the other ingredients upon which you have to build on these bridges and roads, other parameters for the growth of a state that you have to build on the infrastructure. But it will be very difficult for those to germinate because the infrastructure of a state is like a good soil. And so the dividends of democracy are then planted on it. And so today, we'll be telling our people what we have done in terms of infrastructure, or in other words, good soil, or a foundation we've laid for the greatness of our state Ebonyi. And we also be saying, what are those things that we mark our administration out beyond what everybody thinks and knows as dividends of democracy. We have gone beyond what the ordinary street person could call dividends of democracy. We are not mindful of the visions of our founding fathers, and that is for self-determination. They said, yes, we know that we've been criminally marginalized in the past, but whatever that comes to us, together with agricultural endowment and solid mineral, we will be able to manage it to the betterment of Ebonyi people. And that is what we are exactly doing today. We may have been at the bottom of the ladder in terms of federal allocation. We may have been the worst in the federation in terms of the IGR that are accrued to the state. Because to our understanding, it is very bad to milk, to death an already sick cow. And Ebonyi State was sickened by the sojournings we made from our sister states. And so when you talk about our IGR, and you talk about our leniency in terms of tax collection, it's not because we are unwise, but it's because we are mindful of the poverty level that we met our people, and we are very much determined to lift them from that level. And so they have to be alive to enjoy the vision and mission of our founding fathers. And so today, when we talk about the infrastructure we have laid in terms of roads and bridges, we can name some of the roads, but time will fail me to name all the roads. But I will just attempt for Ebonyi and some for records, the roads we have built. And for this we are very grateful to God, because when we mention some of these roads and we showcase it, sometimes we wonder the level that God has taken us as an administration. And so we have most of our roads on concrete roads, 8 inches reinforced concrete roads in Ebonyi State. And when we started this, some doubting Thomases and some people in the name of opposition, they oppose everything, including righteousness. They oppose it. So they said, how can you use concrete? But everybody knows that the reason why people don't use concrete, one is ignorance, another one is cost. But we know we are going somewhere, and our determination is whatever infrastructure we put in place, that it will be there for the next 50 to 100 years. And that's why we decided to do this. And we're so encouraged when I traversed to Indiana on roads from California in USA, and I saw that majority of the highways were built on concrete. When I also went to a number of Middle East nations, I also found out that most of their roads are built on concrete. And so we are very confident that what we are doing is the right thing to do. And I invite all the stakeholders in road building in our nation to come to Ebonyi State and see what we are doing. And so we also have an example. For over 60 years we have a route to Nigersem, the first cement factory in this country, that was built on concrete. Until date is still there. And we have had to build our own to join it, still on concrete. And so we have Onweke Esiama Oshiri Onitsha Road, which is 35 kilometers of road. And this is federal road. And we have had 97% this road completed. We have Obiosara Onitsha Road, which is concrete 8.3 kilometers. We have the internal road in Uburu, my town, which is 12 kilometers. It's completed. We have another Urobo Umuchima Road, which is 7.5 kilometers. It's about 90% done. We have another federal road, which is Amasre Oposi Road, which is 23 kilometers. It's about 95% done. We have Afibo urban roads dualization, which is 12 kilometers, is about 90% done. We have the Amasre Eda Road, which is a continuation of federal road of Amasre Oposi Road, which is 15 kilometer road and is almost completed. We have the Akite Ivo Road, which is 15 kilometers, is 99% done. And of course we have the Ivo Bridge, which is 6-span, which is about 70% done. Work slowed down because of the rain. We have the Oguburu Bridge, which is linking Uburu to Akeze, which is 4-span, and it's about 95% done. We have the section of Abakaliki Afikpo Road, which is federal road, and of course within 3 months in our office, we requested Mr. President to give us approval to do this road. And this road, before our assumption, cut off about 5 local governments of the southern part of the state. And that road is completed and is standing. And we have Onweke Ring Road, which is 5 kilometers, which is also completed. We have Ndufu Echara Road, that is going to the Federal University Funai, which is 18.5 kilometers. And we did something here. We put concrete the same 8 inches, and we also coated it with asphalt. Only 2 places we have done that. The one going to the House of Assembly and this 18.5 kilometer, which is fully completed. We have accelerating road in Abakaliki Federal Highways, which is 20 kilometer, is completed. Abakaliki internal road, we have done it in 3 segments, which are about 450 kilometers, and it's about 99% completed. We have Mofe Abaja Road, is going to Mr. Speaker's place, which is 23 kilometer, concrete road, which is about 99% done. We have 2 bridges on this road, and they're all completed. We have the Ezara North Road, which is 12.8 kilometer, about 90% done. We have the famous Niger Same Road, 15.5 kilometer, which is about 99% done. We have 7 bridges on this Nkalagwe Hamufu Road, which are in the various stages of completion, and they could have an average completion level of about 80%. We have Odomoke Road, which is 15 kilometers. That is completed, and we are engaging the next 16 kilometers, which will link us to Benue. And so if you want to go to Abuja, just be on this road, and you will just get there. We have the Asambo to FM Road, partly concrete and partly asphalt. It's 20 kilometers, but we have re-engaged, it's completed, we have re-engaged another 5 kilometers to take us to FM. And this is part of the famous, Abakaliki Ring Road, which is a total of 199, but we are not going to wait for the African Development Bank to start. So we have taken away 25 kilometers, and this will be completed in the next 3 months. We have Enyibi to the Abakaliki Road, which is 15 kilometers on asphalt, completed. We have Abaja Road, which we have completed. And we have various small roads, 3.5 in Izi, 3.5 in Amamporo, Onitsha, and 3.5 in Amago, Igbo. That's ongoing, which we intend to expand as the contractors progress. And we have Abomege Okawugula Wakwasi Federal Road, popularly called 135 Road, which is 25 kilometers on concrete road and about 90% done. We have 6 span bridge on this same road, which is 100% done. We have the Onwana concrete road, which is about 3 kilometers, going to the place of chairman of Founding Fathers, late Akano Abiam. Is completed and is dotted with solar lights, up to his compound. We have Abaja Isu Road, which is 36 kilometers, and the work is ongoing right now. We have done 5 kilometers of road, internal roads within the army barracks, and that is ongoing, about 80% done. We have 2 kilometers of road within the police barracks. Let me stop so far because the number is endless. I'm sure they will be able to, in the weeks ahead, roll out, the achievements under 3 years of this administration. And in health is wealth, and this is very important. And so, when we started, we discovered in the past administration, we had cases of deaths, especially medical workers' deaths, and some of our brothers and sisters resulting from Lassa fever. And that's why we went ahead. The first thing we did was to build the virology center, that cost us over 500 million. And we bought 5 dialysis machines and 4 ambulances, which we have handed over to the federal government. Today we are constructing, state-of-the-art hospital building, which is going to cost us about 1.5 billion. And this unit is where we intend to use as our medical, tourism. We're going to complete this building, and it's going to be the best in the country. And we're going to equip it so that big men all over the country can come to that particular building for medical treatment or for holidays. We've completed what I can say is the best school of nursing in the whole country, and I wish they can show it here, in Uburu, and we are renovating fully the School of Health Technology in Ezambo. Our 13th General Hospital is being fully renovated to the level of 90%. In fact, some of the General Hospital you will think is a teaching hospital. And so what we have done now is, after the completion of fencing and asphalting, and of course we have had to put water, we are planning to have solar plants there, so that 24 hours you have light in this hospital. And most importantly is what we are doing to assist our brothers and sisters that are variously challenged, especially those that cannot afford medical care. So every month we give to our Department of Welfare the sum of 50 million. And what the president does is, some people that have challenges of cancer, kidney failures, and hip replacement, and so on and so forth. So he interfaces with them directly, Father Ibrahim Wali. And not only that, he goes to the various hospitals, both our 13th General Hospital, some primary health care centers, and the mission hospitals. Some of our people that completed their medical treatment but detained for reason of inability to pay, Father would always pay for them with this amount, and would also give out wrappers and foodstuff and release them to their homes. And not only that, we had to also use our religious fathers, whereby we give some money to the religious institutions, so that those of their members that are variously challenged health-wise, also assisted, and result has been tremendous. And I wish we also show it. We also drug revolving loan, and we are also having a drug center. We are partnering with an American-based drug manufacturing company, whereby we have central drugstore. And what we intend is that all the hospitals will make referral to this, and the center we also have outlets in the 13th General Hospital, so that the issue of fake drugs, which is the reason for frequent occurrence of kidney failures and liver diseases, can be mitigated. So we are doing this, and we also have a program that we call 24-hour doctor call, whereby anywhere you are, and you call a particular number, through the primary health centers that are 285. We provided ambulances to the level of Kekenapep, equip them with telephone. Then you'll be lifted immediately. If there are cases that cannot be treated within the primary health centers, they will be brought to the general hospital. We also have ambulances at general hospital, so that cases that are beyond them will be brought to our tertiary medical centers here, FETA 1 and 2. Our government was the first government that started paying medical conhests and commerce, and we've been paying, and we pay the 15th of every month, and this is very important. In the area of education, when we came on board, we realized that we never assessed our UBEC counterpart funds for education, and so we saved money and immediately paid over 4 billion to UBEC in Abuja, and they released 4 billion, and so over 8 billion is been injected just for renovation of our schools, and just for buying of chairs for our children. It was a pity sight when we came on board to see our children staying on bare floors, see our children studying without roof over their heads. And so we said this should not be allowed, and we've injected another 5 billion in the various programs of education in our state, and that has yielded tremendous results, because even as of today, I received report for the third time successively, back to back, we have been getting 10th position both in WAEC and NECO for the past 3 years. And let me also add that why other universities in the country are increasing their school fees, we decided that we will not increase our school fees. We'd rather reduce our school fees, because we want to ensure that our people, having given free education in primary and secondary, sectors for education, that we also make it, possible for our parents to afford, the tertiary institution program for their children. And so we reduced. And we followed that with the subvention to our university. Every month we give them 200 million and give Igbo College of Education 50 million. And this represents about 10% of our total earnings every month, just for these two institutions. And so far, we have injected in EBBC alone in the past 3 years over 8 billion. And in College of Education should be over 2 billion, to assist them in paying salaries. And we also know that there are challenges of enacting their pension scheme. The meeting we had a few days ago, in which we were discussing how to disperse the 7.6 parish club agreeing to us, and we dedicated the entire funds to our civil servants and also to EBBC and College of Education. For this, Labour is very happy. I hope the federal government releases the money back to us so that we can fulfill this promise to our civil servants and also to EBBC and the College of Education. Of course, we followed by, giving 120 million to clear all the EBBC, work and study, so that our fathers and mothers that are working will be able to also obtain university education, and also give out 130 million to EBBC to start their sports. We have also handed about 3 technical schools to Catholic institution, and the difference is very clear because we have very great success in this direction. We are also working very hard on our science schools, and this is very important. But there's something we want to do differently in Ebonyi State, and this we want to start by January. We want to single out 12 primary schools, and 13 primary schools and 13 secondary schools, and we want to make them the best in the country. And so we're going to inject a lot of funds and bring them up and make this institution for gifted children. If you are, whether your father has money or not, it's not anybody's business. The moment you pass the exam, then you'll be able to come, and they're going to be science-based, so that if we don't have oil, we are endowed with human resources, so that other people will come to borrow from us, and we're very determined to do this. So let me also mention that we are working very hard in ICT, and such institute because we have shortage of science teachers, English teachers, and some of the essential subjects. But we are bridging this gap by getting ICT into it, whereby if you are teaching in one secondary school, some other secondary school through our ICT will be receiving the same lecture and will be able to ask questions. And this is very key. We've tested it, it's working. We're just trying to expand the network, and this will be very good. In the area of agriculture, Ebonyi State is highly noted for agriculture, and all the time I commend the federal government for their assistance continuously, and CBN Governor and Minister of Agriculture, and for their commitment in development for agriculture in our state. And of course, we also commend the former Minister of Finance, the lady that just resigned. She worked very hard for this country, and she worked very hard for the agricultural sector. She worked very hard to bring us out of recession. So I must commend her, and I will be one of those that will miss her because of her genuine contribution to rebuilding of this great nation, Nigeria. And I congratulate the one that was just appointed. In the area of agriculture, we have 4 new rice mills that we are injecting into the existing 4 rice mills in the country. And let me clear some doubts. There was a time it was said that there was a problem with rice, and it was expressed beyond what it was. It was actually the byproduct of our milling, that is usually packed and then is used, for animal feeds. And that's what people discovered. And for the safety of the mills, they closed down the mills until it was tested in NAFDAC. and it was proven that it's still genuine rice, but rejected once by the mill, and the mills have since been opened. And so Ebonyi rice is very salted, and it is the life wire when it comes to food production in this country. And so we are doing very great in rice production. We have also purchased 4 new cassava plants and 1 starch plant. The installation is ongoing. We inherited moribund fertilizer that was established by Dr. Sam Uminyo. But what we did was to reactivate it through the assistance of the federal government in giving us phosphate. And we also have built extra 1 fertilizer plant so that Ebonyi State can serve the entire Southeast and South Side in terms of fertilizer distribution. And that's what, the federal government has made Ebonyi State to be, an off-taker to a supplier to all the states of South and Southeast. And of course, we bought over 140 tractors to our farmers. And the first 6 months for administration, we got 2 billion, which was, a loan from CBN for our agricultural development, which we gave loan to our farmers. Unfortunately, the handlers used fictitious names, and we can't recover the money. But the good thing is still in the purse of Ebonyians, and we have since paid back the same amount to federal government. But the 8 billion we got from 2 banks for the same purpose is doing very, very well, because we have a very robust program to ensure that the farmers that are getting it are farmers, and our youths are everywhere. And we're going to surprise the nation with the volume of rice that has already started coming from our fields. And so we're asking the nation that Ebonyi State is there. There will be no scarcity of rice, there will be no scarcity of cassava. We are there, and our production has been increased this year by over 100%. And this we're very happy. And of course, our 1 man, 1 hectare to all political office holders, has yielded a lot of dividends. And of course, indeed, to all our people. And this is very important. All the government lands is being reactivated and re-injected into agriculture. And we also have 4 billion, which we have injected into our civil servants. A lot of civil servants have gotten this loan, and this loan is very soft at 5%, and it could last as long as you are still in service, but it's going to be revolving. You bring back, you can still take again. And we are targeting by the month of October that would have empowered 10,000 of our civil servants through this agricultural loan. And for this, we are very grateful. The civil servants of Ebonyi State are very happy. They are getting this loan. At the beginning, they were very doubtful. How could I be earning 50,000 a month and you're giving me a loan of 500,000? But it's real. Some of them went to the bank, cashed the money, went to the door, discovered it was real. They came back and redeposited the money. And so this we're very happy. We concluded discussion with an irrigation experts in China, and in the month of October they are beginning their irrigation manufacturing equipment plant in Ebonyi State. And for this we're very happy for. And we have also built a very large factory for the processing of mushroom, both dried and wet ones. And for this, we are beginning processing of it for export. This is very important. So our agricultural efforts, they are speaking for itself, and for this, we can commend all our people for their commitment and their belief in our daily preaching that agriculture and solid mineral is the way to go in this our state. And so when we come to the urban renewal and beautification of our capital city, some people had criticized me and say that my past secretary to government, say that I'm building flyover where there is no water. And this I said, is it the kind of person that is vying for governor? And I am very, very shocked. You don't build flyover in the only way you have water. You build bridges over water, and you build flyover where you have no water. And so when people go to Dubai, what do they go to see? They go to see flyover, they go to see lightning, they go to see infrastructure. And the weather there is very hot. But even at that, people still go there. And Ebonyi State was neglected badly in the past because of no infrastructure, because the state was a dark state, because you could not find any road to ply on, apart from the ones that was done by Dr. Samuel, over is it about 21 years back. And so when we began, we said to our people, we are going to make Ebonyi people's voice to rise. And I'm happy that nobody can refer to us again as Umar Bakaliki. We have come of age. If you come to our city, and by December, our city will be the most beautiful city in this country. Before they bring out Africa and say it's a dark continent. But I'm sure that if they Google Africa again, Ebonyi State will show up with lights. I'm very sure of that. And so for those who are criticizing me, I'm not yet done. I'm building what I call Muhammad Buhari, glass tunnel, and it's over 1.5 kilometers. And it's going to be the glass tunnel bridge that is never seen anywhere in the world. And people will come all over the nation to look at it. And we're also building a mall, which is a microcosm of the macrocosm of Dubai Mall. And it's the largest and biggest in the country, and it's going to be the most beautiful. And somebody also criticized me and said, I'm building a community center. I love God so much. He's the reason why we're on board. And we told us to build a place of worship for him. And that's why we are building the most beautiful place of worship for God. And if that person comes, anywhere he goes and he say he doesn't love God, he doesn't want to build God a place. Unfortunately, I am David. Our lineage has always built God a house. And so, the fountains we see is to cool the weather, and also to let people know that what you can see in America and Dubai is also possible in our place. And people were doubting, how could we build fountain and sustain it? How could we build street light and sustain it? How could we build flyover, and sustain it? And some people go through with heavy trucks. Let them see how they can ply the flyover. They go successfully. Somebody told me that there was an accident there, we should put a bar to restrict big trucks from going there. I said no. My detractors will say because the bridge will not carry bridges, and that's why we are doing that. So no, let us put a task force to control the speed of people. But it's there. So I just want to let Ebonyi people know that the beautification of our Abakaliki capital city has just begun, and when we give you a capital city, you'll be very proud of anyway. And I'm happy Ebonyans anyway, they are very proud of Ebonyi State, and they are not ashamed, to say I'm from Ebonyi State, unlike before. And this is what we're doing. And I pity my detractors, and just a pity because I have not started. And if they lie, they can be 20 to buy form to contest governorship against me. I came in the name of the Lord, and there's nothing that will happen. In terms of environment, some people on their own have adjoined Ebonyi State, the cleanest state in the country. And as you come in, you will see it. If you go around, you will see it. On daily basis, you will see it. And this program is sustained to be taken west. Unfortunately, the capacity of the pulverization plant or waste to wealth plant we built, our waste is not enough. So we are going to be going to other states to beg them, please, we want to collect your waste. And this is what we are going to do by October 1st when we energize this plant, and it's going to be working. And it's there for people to see. And let me also tell Ebonyans good news and congratulations. The flood menace in the capital city, which we've been suffering every time, is becoming a thing of the past. The CGC, a Chinese company, very wonderful company, I'm very proud of them. And I said to them, please, when the advert for the building of the concrete road of the ring road comes out, I want you to bid. There are people that are building the flood control infrastructure, throughout the entire Abakaliki capital city. That project is 13 point something billion. They have started, and wisdom permits them to start with the molding of precast drain. And so the moment the rain dry off, you just see fantastic work that is ongoing. And this is going to deepen our efforts towards, being the cleanest state in this country. And let me not bore you much in environment and water resources. We are revitalizing the Esilo water scheme, and we're going to integrate it with the Oferekpe water scheme. We've completed the Oferekpe water scheme, and we are supplying water there. So what we want to do is to integrate the Oferekpe water scheme with Esilo and with Okawo. When we came on board, we inherited Okawo water scheme, at a very bad shape, and the contractor abandoned site and was asking us to pay billions. And we paid 3 point something billion there, and the work done is about 1 point something billion. So we asked them to come back to site. They said no. And being a trained engineer, I said, look, we can do this. It's the gift of God is not a matter of color of the skin. And so we started using the civil engineers that are mechanical engineering in the Ministry of Water Resources under the commissioner who's a woman. And what a man cannot do, a woman is doing it. And so we've advanced very seriously, and the job has been advanced for over 40%. And when we complete, we are going to integrate a 3 water scheme, so that if one water scheme goes down, then the other one will be activated. Because each of these water scheme can supply water to entire Ebonyi State. And this is very important. And we are having a little problem with the filter in Oferekpe, which we are working on, so that we will resume water supply. But luckily, within the 2 weeks we are done in water supply, it's been rain all the way, showing the mercies of God in our administration. And so they also have a pipe network. Our intention is to network the entire streets of our capital city. We've done over 60% of this, and we're advancing. And good enough, we've reactivated our pipe production factory. And I'm asking other states to come over to Ebonyi State and buy HDP pipes for their water projects. These pipes are working, and they are making profit for our state. In power, good to announce that when we came on board, there was no power in the entire 9 local government areas, especially in the southern part of the state. But today we have been able to work with EBBC to reactivate their lines, and we have power in those locations. And in all the 13 local government areas, we have a minimum of 10 kilometers of street light in all the local government areas. We have also brought in a company that is going to set up solar plants in Ebonyi State. Some of their street light is also dotted with solar plants, whereby we're saving money in buying diesel. And we have also imported 10 solar plants. Each capacity is 100 kVA, which we are using to replace some of the generators of the street light, and also give to some of our general hospital. We've tested it with the FSU bus stop building, and it's working perfectly well. And so the equipment are in Ebonyi State now, and the building of the facility to host it, they're ongoing. But the good news is that we are having the solar manufacturing equipment here in Ebonyi State from October. We are not done. We have gone round to get details of all the networks to all our nook and crannies of our states, all the rural areas where we do not have EDC line, and we have designed them, and we are launching out in the month of October to ensure that every part of Ebonyi State is hooked up with national grid line. And where we have shortage of power supply, we intend to do solar grid line, especially to our markets and some of our schools, so that our people will enjoy light. I believe so much in light. Light is life. And that's why I'm an advocate of the fact that for our general hospitals to work, and private hospitals, and the primary health centers, that we must have light 24 hours. A man in darkness is already sick. and you can see the presence of our street light has increased a lot of commercial activities in Ebonyi State. By 1 a.m. we are still buying and selling, and this is very important. Let me announce to Nigeria and Ebonyi State in particular that the mountainous, rice husks, which is a byproduct of our rice milling, of over 40 years, and causing, health hazard to our people, has got a solution. We have imported and we are installing 1,000 kVA biomass plants in Igbo, and the fuel is just rice husk. And we have another 500 kVA we are installing in industrial cluster in Uburu, and the fuel is just rice husk. So we are going to also be going to other states that are producing milling rice to buy their rice husk to keep these machines ongoing. And we intend to also import lower class of this, lower capacity to all our rice mill in this, state. In the area of housing, we have not done greatly so much in terms of housing, apart from the 3 new government house we are building. And when we complete our government house, I want any other state to come and check. That will be the best in the country. We just want to be the best. You may have all the money, but all we aspire to be is anything we do to be the best. And this is what God called us to do. Our shopping mall is ongoing, it's the best. Our community center is the largest and is the most beautiful. And in the month of October, we are going to be flagging off a massive housing estate through private sector initiative. And this is very important. So, we'll not bore you with this to say about the modernization of our government house and governor's office, deputy governor's office. This place you're sitting, are all modernized, and this is very important. So a lot of other buildings, like the Tinjara Hospital and other housing estate programs are ongoing. Now, one of the things that I call dividends of democracy is the ability of our administration to lift our people from poverty level. This is very important, and this we are doing religiously. And we are doing this, curated Ministry of Economic Empowerment and also Department of Welfare and Religious Welfare Matters. And so when we came on board, we took over 1,000 of our youths, most of them from street hawking in Lagos. And we discussed with them, we trained them in the area of agriculture, and we gave each and every one of them 250,000 naira, as grant, not loan. And the story is tremendous. Not the only that they are off Lagos street, but they are also doing something, creating revenue for themselves and also employing others. And we are monitoring them, and we've told them the moment you hit 500,000, we will give you another 500,000, because we have millionaire club that we are raising in Ebonyi State. One of the things God told us is to empower the widows. That's one of the charges that God gave to us. And of course we have 300 widows we place on salary every month of 20,000 naira. We pay them every month. Somebody told us that majority of Okada riders in Onitsha are from Ebonyi State, and we got angry and were challenged, and so we had to buy 400 keke napep and send to Onitsha and collected back their keke, back to Ebonyi State. And we have listed another 1,000 of them that we are going to empower in the weeks ahead. We also got another set of Lagos workers from Ebonyi State, and we gave them a total of 140 million, and they have seen return to Ebonyi State, and they are working, doing very well in their business. And we also took all the women who are not from Ebonyi State, whether you are from federal, civil service, and you are willing to do agriculture, and they all came together, and we empower them with a sum of 80 million naira. Of course, we've told you about 50 million which we use to lift our people medically every month under the welfare program. We've told you about the 2 billion that we also took as loan, which we use to empower people, in the agricultural sector. And we are partnering with Bank of Industry, whereby we gave them 2 billion and they are going to add 2 billion to make it possible for any of our people that wants to engage in agriculture or, commerce or development of industry to access the Bank of Industry to get this loan at 6% and a period of 5 years. And of course, we appointed over 600 youths as technical assistants and senior technical assistants. And what have we done? We want these youths to learn governance. And we also clean off, the street of our youths in terms of idleness. And these youths are also engaged in agricultural, program. They attend government programs. They are also part of our security. And I know very well that the security agencies are very happy with the youths who are engaged in security keeping in this state. And for this, we're very grateful. Our crime rate here in Ebonyi State is tending to minus. And this is because we have engaged our youths. And of course, of late, an NGO, international NGO, these statistics of states by states that engage youth in governance, and Ebonyi State came first as, of course you can see my deputy and you can see our wives. They are all very young people and, as young as governor himself. So we are raising youths in our state. Of course, when we came on board, traditional rulers were earning 5,000 naira. They were going on bikes. And we say it cannot be a Ebonyi State. Confidence building, that's part of our mission. And so we raised their salaries to 100,000 every traditional ruler per month. And we bought 130 jeeps, brand new jeeps, tear rubber, and we give to these 130 traditional rulers. We talk about our civil servants. The first year in our office, we paid civil servants 100% of their salary as 13th month. And the second month, we paid them 50% of the salary in December. And this year, in December, we are going to not only pay them something that they will be very happy with, we also pay them in December and in January. That's what we do. And the good news is that we have saved 1.4 billion, which we are giving to 140 communities. And it's Operation Choose the kind of project you want to do to lift your community. And this we are going to flag off in the month of December. So you will see our traditional rulers, town union presidents, and some stakeholders in the various communities in Ebonyi State that are going to be benefiting, that are going to be working, and the local government chairmen and coordinators will be supervising them. And we have earmarked 13,000 youths to empower them from the month of November, and each of them is going to get between 100 and 250,000, to prepare for next. It's going to be grants for next agricultural season. This is very, very important. And one of the things I consider that we have done most is the peace of the state, is the settlement of disputes. When we came on board, we saw that spiritually our state was going down because there was so much spilling of blood, especially, the crisis in Ezilo. And when we were campaigning, we told our people that first thing we're going to do is to ensure that there is peace in Ezilo. Even beyond Ebonyans being killed in that spot, some people that are not Ebonyi, we created one autonomous community for the Eza people, which we call Izo autonomous community. I created another autonomous community for the Ezilo people, which we call Ameze community. And so these people are living in perfect peace. Anyone can go to the other place and sleep. The highway is safe. The people are very happy. On October 1st, which we have also declared our peace day, we are going to be celebrating these people. And also what we have done is our brothers and sisters from Izi that were brutally displaced in our centenary city by the past administration. And yes, the government may be right because all lands belong to government. But the first assignment of a government is the welfare of the people, security, safety and welfare of the people. And so even if that land is not, legitimately their own, you do not have to undermine the welfare of the people. And so we have gone back to them and we've apologized to them. All cases in court withdrawn. And we have reassigned them some plots, about 1,800 plots of land. We are putting roads there now. We are demarcating it. And we are saving money that we can assist them to start some building there. We are also saving money that we give to the Isilo and Isilo people, to start building in the same locations, And we've settled other cases between local government, between communities. And this is very important for us because in the atmosphere of peace that we have, then the beauties of our state can thrive. And for this, we are very happy. We may not go ahead in areas of, other sectors, but in the area of, my wild pet project, which is soccer, and we need a lot of soccer in this state. But we do soccer partly, we also do projects partly. And so my wife is on her own, and without government assistance and government patronage, she's been, improving, the well-being of Ebonyi women, tremendously. On monthly basis, she interfaces with widows, interfaces with the, vulnerable children and women, and assists them. She just passed a law on, female genital mutilation, and the first in the country, which the WHO is very happy and commended very highly. And her office, also together with the Office of Women Affairs Commissioner, they go ahead picking vulnerable children and they bring them into a remand home. These children are being sent to school and their fees are paid. Those who are sick, are being taken care of medically. And, she has tremendously done very, very well. Even in child education, where there is a very vigorous campaign to ensure that every girl child is sent to school, and also to teach our women, the safe way, of motherhood. So for this, I'm very grateful to her and her office and all her team, together with the wife of the Deputy Governor, our Direct Assistant and Commissioner for Women Affairs, and all the great women of Ebonyi people, the focal person, I commend all of you very highly. You have really uplifted the plight of women in our state. Local government. The local government under administration is in a different transformation. For the first time, local government in the state together in their various local government area put together have done projects of over 5 billion, meaningful and tangible projects. Under our watch, the development center that never had buildings are having buildings. Local government lodges are being built. But the good news, Christ was telling us, he said, dear little children, be therefore imitator of Christ as your Father in heaven. And so these people are looking at the concrete massive road infrastructure we are building, and they have gotten consultants to begin to design concrete road for them. And so in the month of October, we are going to be flagging off a minimum of 1 kilometer of 8 inches thick concrete road in each of the 13 local government areas. And this makes me so happy. And I said to them, even if it is in your father's street, put it. It's a legacy that our people will never forget. And this we're very, very happy about. Solid mineral. I'm happy to announce that we are making tremendous efforts in the area of solid mineral, and I commend the Commissioner of Solid Mineral, and of course Deputy Governor is manning this ministry, and the 3Ss. We are fortunate, but let me tell Nigerians that what we are earning from solid mineral is very, very poor. It's very poor. The land is being devastated, it can never come back. And so I call on the Minister of Solid Mineral at the federal level, who is doing tremendously very well, because there's been a lot of innovation in the area of solid mineral. And for this I commend them very well, including my friend who is the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Dr. Fayemi. But we have to look at the earnings in solid mineral, and let us know the cost, the price of this solid mineral at the international market, and know whether we are earning the right thing. But for us in Ebonyi State, I'm happy to announce that EBBC is tremendously doing well in the manufacturing of equipment to reactivate Niger. And for this, we are very, very, very grateful to him. We've had meeting with financiers that are Americans, and his company is quoted in American Stock Exchange. And for this, it's a great plus for Ebonyi people. And also the Chinese that are manufacturing this equipment, they have also been Ebonyi State. I've invited Ebonyi State government to come and see the level of the equipment and manufacturing for Niger. We also announced, gladly that Lafarge is almost concluding their core drilling, and they have promised us by the month of January they will start, their cement factory in Ebonyi State. And also, Bua, has tremendous high yield of limestone in the state. And we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and they've already started their core drilling, and they promised that in 2019 their cement factory will be on. And we also have a Chinese company, Tongji, that is also going to set up cement factory in Okpoto initially local government. So we're very excited about this giant efforts, and we're grateful to God Almighty. And of course, we met on board Royal Salt, which is the first lead zinc smelting plant in the whole of West Africa. And we are determined to increase it by 1. So Tongji is also setting up another lead and zinc smelting plant in Ebonyi State. And what is holding them is the rain. Otherwise, the memorandum of understanding has been signed, and it is something we're very happy about. We're also working with another Chinese company in how to use our salt, tremendous salt that we have in Ebonyi State, and produce chloroform, hypochlorite solution. That's the correct pronunciation, hypochlorite solution, which is safer than chlorine in water treatment. And so in the weeks ahead, we're going to be signing a memorandum of understanding with federal government, Ministry of Water Resources and FCT, so that when this plant is built in Ebonyi State, we use our salt solution, and through the mechanism of distillation, we'll be able to produce a hypochlorite solution for water treatment. It's harmless and it's safe and it's very, very good. No turbidity when you use it in water treatment. And for this, we're very happy. We have first gold in this state. We have the highest deposit of lead and zinc, but it's being criminally mined in Ebonyi State. And so we have said, look, we have to introduce the best practices in mining, because the method of mining now is very crude and rude, and it sends lead to our streams, and that's maybe the cases of increase in liver failures and kidney failures we are having in Ebonyi State. And so we are saying that we have to deploy the latest technology in mining of this solid mineral in our state. And for this, we have made a law, and we're going to be asking the hand of federal government to ensure that this is done. In Border Peace Ministry, like I said, we have set the peace rolling, and for this I commend the commissioner. Let me finally talk about our civil servants. Let it be known, and is hereby known, that we do not owe our civil servants any money. The gratuity we owe in the state, yes, when we came on board, gratuity was just paid, as much as it could by Dr. Sam Egu's administration, but the last administration did not pay much of gratuity. So we inherited, bulk of gratuity, never paid since the creation of the state. And so what we have done through the Paris Club we got from, federal government was to pay 40% of Paris Club to of the gratuity, of all local government retirees and that of states. And so today we are owing 60% of gratuity, and that's what I can say we are owing. Yes, there is also an issue of 2016 and 2017 UBEB promotion arrears for teachers. We are reconciling that. because I found it very difficult to understand why promotion increment in 1 year in local government alone should be about 334 million, which means that in 10 years, which is just my tenure plus, it will be 3-point-something billion, plus the original salary. So we are reconciling this, and I can assure the civil servants, the UBEB teachers, that as soon as this reconciliation is done, that whatever is owed to them will be paid to them immediately. And for small other demands they are making, there are things I've asked them to articulate and bring about. And so I want to assure our civil servants that we do not play politics with your welfare. The SSG that left me, the first thing he said is that he didn't like the way civil servants were being treated. But incidentally, the agreement we had with civil servants in 2017, 28 November, he was the one that signed the agreement with civil servants. He was the chief negotiator, and he was the one that negotiated and signed. And it was boldly written that as soon as we paid them their leave allowances in that December, that we were not owing them any other listing. But I came in the name of the Lord. I didn't come as a politician, and I'm not a politician. I came to do the will of God. And so I want everybody not to play politics with civil servants. And people that are saying they want to rule Ebonyi State, sometimes I laugh. They say that they want to live the plight of the people. With the position you wear, what did you do for the people? Can you tell us what you did for them? There are some of them that cannot define what is GDP, and they are vying for governor of the state. Sometimes I look at their caliber and I begin to ask myself, is it this office that God gave to me, or is it a lesser one they want to occupy? But God will not take us back to Egypt in Jesus' name. In industry, one of the key things that will take us to the vision of our founding fathers is industries. And so we have started on a very good note. We have set up 3 industrial zones, one in each of the senatorial zones. And we are also engaging Ceredec and the UNIDO for them to give us feasibility studies of 300 SMEs in each of these, for each of these zones. And not only that, their responsibilities on consultancy is also for them to, be exposed to our people, so that when we announce these are the industries we want to put in these industrial clusters, we are fencing, we are putting out some buildings in some of these locations, and then some industries have also started in some of them. And so we will train our people, in such areas of SME as they will be exposed to us. And we also lead them to areas of finances, and we also lead them to areas of off-takers. And this is the way to go. And when we complete these 3 industrial zones, we will also deploy to the 13 local government areas. We are very determined. China is what China is today because everybody is working. And that is our vision for Ebonyi State, that everybody will be working. And by the time we are done with our tenures, Ebonyi State will be left totally in the hands of God. I'm told I have 10 more minutes, and let me quickly talk about the area of security. Of course, we have by law our neighborhood watch, and what we have done in this area is to set up our set of youths who are of good character. We send them to security agencies to screen them, train them, and we deploy them to the rural areas. And we've had success story in terms of herdsmen and farmers clashing through these people. We have very serious success story in terms of anti-kidnapping activities in Ebonyi State. Their story is very well a success one. And for this I'm very grateful. And I want to thank the past Commissioner of Police in the state, the Commissioner of Police that just came, and the Commissioner, the Director of SSS. My opposition boasted that they will remove the CP and they will bring another one. And CP was actually removed, another one came. I say any of them can change clothes and become CP.
you cannot do anything in this state. So, because we are not asking for favor, we're not asking any for favor, but the rules must be played, straight and straight. And Ebonyi people will resist anybody that wants to be funny with them, and they must know that it is in this state that the resistance to tax paying started, and they have to go and ask how it was done. So let nobody be funny and say that they want to change this. Nobody is going to change anything, because we are going to make sure that the right thing is done in the state. And so the Commissioner of Information will have all the time to talk for himself, but in the area of information we've done tremendously very well. We sustain our radio and TV, and we are working integrating the TV into the DSTV, so that our people anywhere in the world will be able to see the activities of what we're doing. And we are also deploying LED. If there are matches, you don't have to go to any place to pay to watch match. You just see whatever thing we are doing, and we are trying to take it to the 13 local government areas. Time will fail me, but let me say that generally I am very satisfied with the little resources that is coming and what God has done for us. I'm very satisfied with the cooperation I've gotten with the elders of the state, with National Assembly members, with my wife, the Deputy Governor, the wife, the Speaker, and the House of Assembly. I'm very, very satisfied, and I'm very confident, the judiciary, the press, and the entire Ebonyi people. I'm very confident that we are not playing politics. And I ask Nigerians, politics has taken center stage, and the welfare of the people is no longer the issue of governance. And so there's extreme politics in the land, and everybody wants to become one thing or the other. We have to do something as leaders to emphasize, profiteering, in governance. We have to do something to discourage the rush for political offices. This is very important, because the kind of zeal, the kind of animosity that is going on in our society, if we deploy that for another 4 years, I don't know whether we still have a country called Nigeria. The recklessness in political activities, the desperation of people, some don't have anything to offer. They believe that they boast, we will change all INEC in your state. We change all the security agencies in your state. We say don't change them, just become the INEC yourself and become the security agency yourself. And then come that day, unless according to their boasting they will write result in Abuja, it is safer to write the result in Abuja. It will not be safe to write the result in Ebonyi State, because it will not work. The north part of this state, the northern part of this state has taken the leadership of this state under Dr. Sam Minyewu for 8 years. The central under Chief Martin Elechi has done 8 years. Under the equity, the tripod that Ebonyi State was curated, it is the turn of the South. And God is in infinite mercy. When a sitting governor wanted to change the rule, God appeared on the scene, and it was David he brought on the scene. And God said, the Ebonyi South turn must be observed. And since the other people did 88 years, there was no truncation. Even much more, Samuel and David that came by the calling of the Lord, will anything touch their own? God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you. Please, may we get seated. Thank you very much for this very long and lengthy account of your achievement in the last 3 years. When you were giving this account, I was wondering whether we will still have time to ask questions. If if my calculation is right, His Excellency talked for 1 hour 15 minutes, and he was also complaining of time, and that shows that he has a lot and has done a lot for the people of the state, and we want to give account.
Governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Chief Apostle David Nweze Umahi, giving us his remarks there on the occasion of the 2018 Independence Celebration Media Chat Media Dinner. Indeed, Ebonyi State, 22 years, has a lot to celebrate and thank God for, especially under this administration that came by divine mandates. You have heard it all from the set man. All sectors of the economy has and is still experiencing a turnaround. And all the facts are verifiable, even to the blind and
for those who are listening or watching
from
various parts of the country and beyond to ask questions. The lines are 0813-539-2418 or 0814-850-56459. We'll do a recap of the number again in course of our discussion, but I want to appeal to my colleagues to please, when you ask your questions, make it brief and straight to the point. We have some very senior colleagues here on the stage here. We're going to give them opportunity to ask questions first. If there are any of them who has any question to ask, please, you can take up the microphone. Yes, I can see Dan Ede of Radio Nigeria indicating his intention to ask question. Please, can we provide a microphone for Dan Ede to take the first shot?
My name is Dan Ede. I work for Radio Nigeria. Let me first congratulate His Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi, on the 22nd anniversary of the creation of Ebonyi State. Your Excellency, I am one of those that have taken personal interest in your administration, that have been following the activities of your administration right from the outset. And I want to observe that you have been working in the past 3 years plus as if you were not interested in a second term, taking up almost everything at the same time. Now you are in the race for the second time, for the second term. If you are elected, what will be your focus and priorities? Or will you spend the second term sleeping, as some of the people we used to call action governors in the past did in their second term? Thanks.
Thank you very much. Actually, we are in a hurry to catch up with other states and to surpass them, because the vision is to make Ebonyi State to be one of the first best 3 economies in the country, and to make our capital city to be the most beautiful. I don't think I've achieved that. I've just laid the foundation. I have to build on them. And so, to ensure that over 90% of our people are lifted out of poverty line, to create many millionaires and billionaires in the state. These are the visions. To have the most beautiful hospital that people from other nations will want to come to Ebonyi State. To have the most beautiful schools and best equipped schools that other people from other nations will want to send their children to the schools. These are the, so what we've just not started. We are just building like foundation. And you know, when the reprogram, starts, just like you go to the mall we built, you will not see the massive foundation with it. And so take it that this is likened to the massive foundation of our mall. And so the superstructure is coming up. And so our second tenor is not going to be a sleeping second tenor. It's going to build on this foundation that we have laid. And anybody coming on that tries to come on board after me, not these jobbers that are just moving up and down. Some are setting a campaign, begging funds, in social medias. Many of them know what they're looking for. But if it is my job they're looking for, when they go around there, boy, they have to ask themselves if they are really qualified to take up this job, And if they go around, and they can define Ebonyi State vis-a-vis how we met it, we'll be very happy and know that, But some of these people have worked with me, and some of them that call themselves certain professional names. But myself, with just common first degree in engineering, was correcting their memos. I was the teacher correcting their memos, and so I just wonder. So the second thing is going to be, and God prepared us very well. I read civil engineering, and I also, everything mathematics from my childhood was never anything outside 100%, and that is also disadvantageous to my commissioners, because when memo come, I just calculate immediately. I'll tell you how much it's supposed to be. And so it's going to be a very, very dutiful second tenure, and I thank you for that question.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that. We now invite Onoha Uke of the Sun newspapers to ask his question. After that, we go to our colleagues at the floor. Thank you.
His Excellency, I actually have two questions to ask. We have seen the beautification of Abakaliki, the roundabout, the fountains and all that. They are beautiful. And personally, I like the touch of bricks in all that. But we know that in Nigeria, the problem is always maintenance culture. So what have you put in place to ensure that during your tenure and after that, that these roundabout, road and others will maintain the same standard? That's question number one. Then number two is, Nigeria at 58 is still largely divided along ethnic and religious lines. And these are always manifested during election. What would you suggest for Nigeria to overcome these challenges? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Onoa. Well, in engineering, there is what is called, when you're designing hydraulic structure, there's what is called self-cleansing velocity. And so in the building of our infrastructure, we can say that we are deploying what we call self-cleansing velocity. What it means is that we build structures that will require minimum maintenance. That's number one. And number two is that if we maintain this infrastructure for the past 3 years, and we're going to maintain it for another 5 years, the person that will succeed me will be the person ordained by God. And so the Ebonyi people will rise. I love what Ambassador Nguruku said. He said, by the time I leave, if one street light goes off, one bulb, that they will come and chase the person. So we've gotten to an irreversible point that the infrastructure we're putting in place, the priority number one of the successful government will be to maintain them. So Ebonyi people will not agree. On the second question, we are very concerned about the level of division we have in Nigeria, along ethnic, along political, along religious line. It is very simple what we should do, we leaders. My Bible tells me that he that has rule over people must rule with the fear of God. If we believe as leaders that is God that crowneth a man, and that is God that brings up a man, and you lead, because by the fear of God, men depart from evil. Some of these things are man-made. The common man is not interested. The common man wants, 2 or 3 square meal on his table. But when you want to vie for position, you can whip up sentiments, either religious or ethnic, or clannish kind of sentiment. So my advice is that let's begin to see ourselves as one people.
In this state, I sent Christians on pilgrimage. I sent Muslims on Hajj. Muslims are in my administration, Christians are in my administration. Let's begin to see ourselves as one, people. And I don't believe that Christians will believe that their religion is superior to that of the Muslim, nor Muslim believe that is superior to that of Christian. It is the Lord that judges it. So if we are all serving the same God, which we all call God, then the judgment should be left to God. So I believe that if we begin to see ourselves with love, if we begin to be equitable in sharing of resources, in sharing of positions in this country, we will begin to address this. Because if we go through this for a few more years, it will be very difficult for our children, not to toe the same line. But when we go outside this country, we see ourselves as one. Why shall we not see ourselves as one, if we are here? And there's something I used to tell our people. I said the person that has helped you the most is probably not your father, is probably not your brother, is not probably somebody from your place. It's God that arranges destiny helpers. So I will suggest strongly that we begin to see ourselves with the eyes of love. We begin to fear God in our dealings with one another. We begin to be equitable in sharing of resources and positions, and we begin to know there is no victor, there is no one who is inferior, there is no one who is superior. We are Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I want to, at this point, appeal to my colleagues at the floor to please allow those of us at this stage to take 2 questions from here before we come down to you.
His Excellency, my name is Sayodele Ojo. I write for New Telegraph. Well, I've listened to you, and with humility, and I will say that you have done well. I also want to find out, sir, you spoke about the revenue profile, about generation about the state. The federal allocation, the state is at the lower rank. The IGR, you are more considerate in not taxing your people. And you spoke about so many projects your administration have done. How did you fund those projects? That is one. 2, you talk about opposition. You have been playing a robust opposition. You are in a PDP, and at the federal level we have an EBBC government. But you have not been seen as being attacking the federal government. But at home front, you have been a subject of your kind of battle from the. Is it because of power that's at stake, or what the problems are? The third aspect has to do with EBBC is 22, and you have been in office for more than 3 years. There were promises you made to the people of Ebonyi. You have fulfilled some of the promises. There are still some challenges. What are some of the outstanding issues, challenges that you have not been able to address? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You are very dangerous. Well, I can say to the glory of God, we have attained fulfillment of our promises to our people, to the level of over 95%. Yes, and the Ebonyi people are here to testify. But success creates, other challenges. And so the promises are now, endless. Because as you solve one problem, you get to others. And these promises will remain until we get to the promised land, to the fulfillment of the visions and missions of our founding fathers. This is very important. I don't believe that as a governor I should be castigating the president. I've said this severally. Is Mr. President doing everything right? The answer is no.
It's only God who can do everything right. But it's not my duty to castigate him. It's not my duty to rubbish him. He's the only boss I have. And so my first boss is my wife. Then before the president, you know, who is our overall boss. So I will not castigate Mr. President. I will not. And there is nothing at the federal level that is not at the state level. The state is a federating unit, and the powers of the state are also enormous. The states, they have their own laws, and so there are things that federal government cannot do in any state. And so it's not because of fear, but because I should not attack Mr. President. The president is the symbol of the country. The party can say anything against the president, against the other political parties. But if a governor should raise his voice and castigate the president, the international community will take it more seriously. Because the governor of a state is a mini president. So this is important. And again, I'm not ashamed to say he's my friend. You know, so I maintain that, but does not mean that I will not support my party, you know, and her ideologies. This is very important, and I want people to know. And you said back home. You see, back home we have pretenders who don't mean well for our state. We have pretenders who have had the opportunity of, you know, lightening the burden of our people, but they did not. They are not supporting Mr. President here. Because if they are supporting the president, what they want is my job. And I won't allow them to take the job. Because they don't mean well, you know. Those who have had the opportunity of being governors, they should tell us their legacies. And when they go to Abuja and they deceive the leaders in Abuja that they are on ground, let them do one rally to show that they are on ground. Let them parade the leaders in the state that are backing them. You know, so they are looking for my job to still set the state backwards. They are not supporting Mr. President. If they are supporting Mr. President, I will know. But I will not fold my hands and allow them to take my job. So that is... when you see them, tell them they are jokers. They are dealing with a divine, calling. It's, I'm a divine calling. I will have divine mandate. You know, so they have to, you know, get through God before they can get to me. The revenue profile. I have said that in Nigeria, the cost of projects is the highest in the world. That is where our problem is. But fortunately, I've been, you know, I was trained in civil engineering. I major in project management and the cost benefit analysis of projects. I've been a contractor and very good one. And so I deploy all this. And with the calling and fear of God, a project that could cost any other state 500 million per kilometer, we do it between 100 and 150 million per kilometer. It will shock you to know that 8 inches concrete road, grade 40. Engineers will understand what I mean by grade 40. Our bridges is of grade 55, you know, concrete mixture. And we follow the contractors with, you know, our daily, cast concrete, cubes that we cast. We also do static, destructive test on site after you cast this thing. So, some of the expatriates that are working with us, they tell me, Chinese, that your price small, but you pay on time. You pay on time. So, the magic is that our price is low, our quality is high, but we also pay on time. One of my detractors, my former SIG, said that we are owing contractors in the States 53 billion. I want any contractor that is being owed 10 naira. I'm not saying 100 million. 10 naira in the States, let him publish it in the newspaper. Any contractor that is being owed 10 naira, he
should publish it in the newspaper, and let the world see it. As we talk now, there is no certificate on my table that is not paid. No certificate. So this is what we are doing.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I hope you will be disposed to take questions from two seasoned journalists on this stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Olakunle Abibola is my name. I work for the Nation newspaper. First, I say greetings from Lagos. And that's why I want to first agree with you that, Lagos is the center of excellence. And you say you want to be the best in the country. Well, we'll welcome you to compete with us. And we'll see how everybody can go. But strictly, let me say that I've observed your politics. And really, it's been very heartwarming to me personally. Because you play politics of enlightenment, non-confrontation, and all that. And let me say too, I'm enthralled by your politics of development. I'm a developmentalist myself. Any government that provides infrastructure, which is, the saying is that teach them, don't give them fish, teach them how to fish. That's what infrastructure does to you. And by first coming to Ebonyi, I think last year, I was enthralled because we had a lot of things. There was the backwaters, people are very backward. I know that Senator Onye was telling me that I should come and see myself. And really I came myself and I was enthralled. Congratulations, Your Excellency. But I have like two questions. First is your politics of accommodation. You've been, when you were briefing us, you talked of a Muhammadu Buhari glass tunnel. From there, your politics, your relationship with the federal government have been very progressive, very accommodative, very friendly. How has that impacted on your policies or your ability to carry out your policies in the state? That's my first question. Then, when I came over the first time, I took some records with me. And I noticed the state has a ministry of conflict resolution, of border disputes and all that. I read in the news out of this conflict between people of Ebonyi and Cross Rivers. How has the government tried to tackle that problem? Because you talk of peace and security, and when you have conflicts like that, there are negation of peace and security. Those are my two questions, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I also appreciate you knowing where you are coming from. But I can assure you we will overtake Lagos. The politics of accommodation, I can say that it has fared very well for us, even though I must be very fair to the federal government in not being selective in dealing with state governors. They may be selective in other things, but in dealing with state governors, no governor will say that an APC governor got something and PDP governor did not get. And I tell you the example of Paris Club that was released to Oshun. Immediately other governors, got their own. And so I can say that. So I will not say that the assistance we get, like in agriculture from federal government, is because we are not criticizing the president. No, because other states also got the same thing, But it's just in my nature and upbringing, to respect others and respect, constituted authority. And to fight those who do not have respect for constituted authority. And that's what I'm doing here very well, to make sure that when God calls you, he said to Joshua, be courageous, So I'm being courageous to make sure that this job that God gave to me, I don't allow the devil to come in between it. This is, very important. In our conflict border peace, is actually for settling internal crisis of the state. We have the office of the deputy governor statutorily and constitutionally,
empowered to do this. And I was a deputy governor, and I worked very hard, and he's working actually very hard in this regard. Just few months back, about 2 months, we had our final, what I can say, the icing on the cake, with the governor of Cross River State. And we both governors and our deputy governors agreed on how to settle this case, finally. And the agreement is that we should institute what we can look at as, a tribunal, or arbitration panel, if you like. And so, people will prepare all their claims, with supporting documents, colonial masters maps, judgments of Supreme Courts, High Courts and everything, and then package it and give to Cross River. And Cross River will do the same thing to us. And so we now study it and then appoint arbitrator, each of us. And then NBC will be part of the arbitration, and then they will appoint the third arbitrator. So these arbitrators will go into meeting, and the communities that are involved have also signed that whatever is the outcome of this arbitration, that will be acceptable to them. So I think this is the way to go. Now we recommend it to other states that are having similar problems, so that you have power of attorney from the community leaders, that whatever that comes out of this arbitration, will be binding, because life is lost. And this crisis, dates back to about over 100 years, So we are working very hard, and we are building, about 1 kilometer bridge across Uferepe in the local government. And the Cross River governor, is going to build the road to link to existing federal highway there. And so through that, we also intermingle, to show solidarity and love amongst, the same thing we are doing at Afibo axis. We are building, 500 meters, sorry. The other one is 1 kilometer of bridge. The other one is 500-meter bridge, across to link ourselves to the Cross River people, and they will build road. So we have addressed the press in this regard. So this is what we are doing. But the Border Peace and Father Wanley's Welfare Department statutorily are to settle internal crisis, quarrels between brother and brother, local government communities, and so on and so forth. And that's the essence of that. And for this we're grateful. And let me give that honor to the former governor. He is the one that curated our ministry, and we are maintaining it. Even though he's not with us, he's in opposition.
All right, thank you very much. The next question will be from Chukwusakuna. Please do it briefly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Excellency. For those who know me, there are very few people who have done more road trips or who do more road trips than I do. Even I had to drive from Abuja to Ebonyi. And with all sense of responsibility, I want to say that Ebonyi has one of the best road networks in Nigeria. That said, Your Excellency, we also know that Ebonyi has one of the least allocations in Nigeria. This brings me to my question. You're a member of the Governors Forum, and daily we are regaled by stories of governors who cannot pay salaries. And here we are in Ebonyi, not only do you pay salaries, you also pay bonuses at the end of the year. Your Excellency, don't you think that you are being selfish by not sharing your formula with your colleagues? Is it because you just want to keep this formula to yourself? You don't have money, you're able to do these things, and you are yet able to pay extra at the end of the year? That is one. Then secondly, your Ebonyi used to be notorious for cholera and guinea worm scourge. So it's a thing of joy that you are partnering with an American pharmaceutical company to start making drugs in Ebonyi State. But the question is this: we know how these things work. How do you intend to fund this laudable medical program? Will the drugs be free? Will they be subsidized? Because we know that from my state, Anambra State, we have a lot of notorious drug dealers. Won't these drugs end up in Onitsha market? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Wonderful questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. One thing the governors don't do is that, they emulate one another. They don't compete unfavorably. I've gone to other states, like I stole the mushroom factory we have from Abia State, you know, and I'm happy for that. I've, you know, sent people to go and understudy what Governor Rufai is doing in Kaduna State. I've sent people to Lagos State. I've sent people to Jigawa State. You know, I've sent people to Rivers State, you know, Niger State, Enugu State. So there are a lot of things that we do that I stole from other governors. And Kebbi State, you know, my good friend and brother. And so the governors have different challenges and different grace. The other people that may be doing tremendously better than me in other areas, I wouldn't know. But I am simply solving the problems of my people. I'm solving it the way I made it, and that is what I'm doing. Let me say that every month what we do is to, when allocation comes, before it comes, we pay every 15th of the month. So allocation comes, you know, at the end of the month, and then, you know, so what we did was to go to the bank, and we got facility from the bank in overdraft. What I hate most in my life is to pay bank interest. You know, and our bankers know very well that if my money is staying 24 hours, it should yield interest to the government. And I can say that by fixing our public funds, even some institution we call say we don't fix this money, I say why? Is it your money? That you have oversight function over it doesn't mean that you are so I fix it, and since I came on board, I've made interest by fixing public funds of over 3 billion. You know, over 3 billion. So these are some of the ways, you know, you can see what 3 billion can do for me in terms of infrastructure. You know, this is very important. And if I fix it and I'm running low, I will borrow overdraft. So if I'm fixing at 13%, you give me overdraft at 17%, 2% additional. And the moment I distant, then I will be revived. But there are some people that will go on borrowing money, and the money will be, you borrow at 35%, and the state is dying. So this is one of the ways we've been able to sustain this. And again, we give you contracts, and there will be no variation. I changed the law that if there will be a variation in a contract of 5 naira, the governor must bring it to ESCO. ESCO must know we signed it. In the past, some people vary contracts, you know, by over 1 billion, many commissioners, you know. And so we made sure that there has been no variation in our state since we came on board, because we will not owe you. You put in certificate, we pay you. You delay the job, you pay what we call liquidated damages. Every week by the level of your delay, there is certain amount of money, percentage of the contract uncompleted that you have to pay us. So here, you know, everybody is on the toes. And again, we have been able to turn Ebonyi State to a construction site. Everywhere you will see construction. If you go around, you've seen nothing by seeing what is in Abakaliki here. You know, if you go around all the 13 local governments, you will see construction signs all over. And so this is how we are doing. So let me say we are learning from one another. And the governor of Delta State called me. I learned something from him in terms of fishery, and he called me, said, this concrete road, is it real? You know, Edo governor also called me, is it real? So we are learning a lot, you know. My friend Abia governor has come here, he saw the flyover, he's doing a better one than my own. So this is what we are doing, and we are very happy. The drug something, you know, is not going to end in Onitsha, because if you have we're going to computerize, and so like it's done in overseas. If you go to any of our tertiary institutions, you know, and you have you know, drug, while they are prescribing it, it is reporting at the drug center. So you just carry the receipt, you know, and then the account number will also report there. So you just go and pay, carry the receipt and go there, and then, you know. And why you don't see a lot of madness is because we ban tramadol. There are certain dance you will see that is a product of tramadol, you know. So we don't have it here in Ebonyi State, and we also ban codeine and this thing, you know. So it will not. We are, you know, being disciplined and controlled very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the wonderful way you have attended to these questions. I believe that you will be in a position to take up to 5 questions from our colleagues at the floor. Thank you very much.
We are now giving opportunity to those of us at the floor to ask questions. Remember that when you have your microphone, introduce yourself and then make your questions briefly. Your Excellency, I wouldn't know whether you want to take the 5 questions at once or you react to the questions as they come. Okay. His Excellency is going to take the 5 questions at once, so ask your questions, he keeps a record of them, and at the end of that, he will respond to the questions. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, my name is Comrade Samuel Nweke. I am the Vice Chairman of the Ebonyi State Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists. I am a member of Knight of St. John's International. Yes, His Excellency, what I want to say this night is just the position of Nigerian journalists in Ebonyi State. My own is a comment. I want to attest that all that His Excellency has said here is nothing but the truth, because we have been following your developmental strides in Ebonyi State. Your Excellency, I want to assure you that we, the journalists in Ebonyi State, we in the local media who have been following your developmental strides are joining other well-meaning Ebonyi State, Ebonyi people to adopt you for a second tenure in office come 2019. This is simply because you have performed, Your Excellency. We are proud of you. In 2016, when you held a dinner night with journalists, I told you, His Excellency, that hungry journalists are worse than hungry lions. And since then, His Excellency, you have been putting smiles in our faces. And if you look around, you can see that journalists in the house are looking so handsome. Your Excellency,
including the slides.
Yes, His Excellency, I will not grab the microphone without urging the journalists in the house to rise up. Let us sing a victory song for His Excellency because he emerged the winner in 2019. I call the attention of all journalists in the house to rise up. Let us sing. You are a leader.
Your voice, yes.
You are a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader. His Excellency, you are a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Your Excellencies. My name.
Please, can we sit down so that we can take the questions? Please, can we sit down?
My colleagues, my name is Felix Oka, correspondent for the Authority newspapers. Your Excellency, you talked about your appointment of over 500 TS and STS. And indeed, it is commendable. But there is a suspicion, Your Excellency, that when you get into your second tenure, you may drop all these guys. And if that happens, it may bring about the security you have brought. Do you think it will be possible, Your Excellency, to go ahead and to go on with these numerous appointees of SS and STS? Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, I am Chinaza John, the Assistant Secretary of NUJ Ebonyi State Council. So when you came on board, you actually promised to harmonize some certain things, and you did, in terms of the tax system of the state. You saw the need for people to pay their tax, and that sensitization, the awareness was created in the minds of the people, and they started paying. At a point, if I may borrow your language, Your Excellency, jobbers took advantage of the whole situation, and they infiltrated the system, and they started molesting the people, intimidating the people. Then after the town hall meeting, through your magnanimity, you suspended the tax system. A person in my church even had to give thanksgiving for that because they really dealt with her. One of the seamstress one day, an agent came to her. She wrote, the guy wrote a levy for her. She went to the Ministry of Information and paid, the Ministry of Environment and paid the money. The agent came back and now asked her for the levy. She said she had gone to ministry and the agent took her materials. That do you think that I am a monkey? That how can a monkey be walking and a babu is and kind of that a babu is chopping? But thank God you suspended the whole thing. But the fear now is that, Your Excellency, and that's my question. If you go back for the second tenure, which we know by the grace of God that it will happen, will it go back to what it used to be, or will it now be harmonized? Because by right we should pay our tax, but will it now be harmonized, or will it go back to what it used to be before the suspension, sir?
Well, thank you very much. I think we'll stop taking questions at this point so that His Excellency can respond to these questions. Thank you very much. We're going to close in the next 3 minutes.
Thank you, my sister. Tell the woman that gave thanks in church to God that I'm of God, and her testimony will not be short-lived. I'm not a politician. I have said that. I came in the name of the Lord. I came with the fear of God. There is no way in my second tenure I will ask the women that are selling vegetable hawkers to be paying tax. I will not do that. And I'm on record for you to watch and see. Not that those that are supposed to pay tax should not pay tax, but the manner and the way it was being done was very wrong. Today, some people are in the prison. Some forged the signatures, some printed tax receipts. Some said we are doing manifest, collecting money from travelers. All those things were not of us. And that's why we banned it and created phone numbers so that if anybody asks you to give him 1 kobo, you call such numbers, we apprehend the person immediately. And our law in this regard, state law, is very serious, and it is prison without option of fine. So nobody is going to reintroduce this satanic, taxation. Nobody will do that. It was never introduced by us. It was evil people that did it to tarnish the image of our administration. The OCA, I've told you the reason for appointment of this T and STS. You see, when you bring young men and women closer, they will learn the act of governance. They will also have the opportunity, of self-determination. And they will also, it's like a group. They are grouped and they are being helped. They are being trained. I was very excited when I saw this TAs and STAs playing ball, and they won the board people flat. And so what they are doing is very wonderful, and you can see that we are moving into a negative index in our security. Negative is in the sense that we begin to export our security programs to other states, because we are presently at 0 level in terms of crime. And so be not afraid. If your brother or wife is part of them, tell the persons can make a program for another 4 years plus, because they will continue to be there. This is very important. And let me thank you very much. And this victory song you sang now, I'm going to work on journalist estates so that I'll be able to give allocations to the journalist. And just like it is my duty in the second tenure to make sure that all our judges, magistrates, board members, House of Assembly, ESCO members, chairmen of local government, development center coordinators, and other stakeholders, and including the level of the people my wife is building houses for, that we give them land allocation, and we also give them soft loan that will be of no sweat, so that they can develop their own, houses. So I can assure journalists that we are going to do this for you. And you must know, and you can add members of our Elders Council, or the chairman of Elders Council. There is no promise we make that God has not helped us to fulfill. There is none. So we don't make political statements. We are mindful of the fact that God brought us to leadership. And he gave it power, and if you misbehave, like Saul did, he removed Saul and brought David. And this is David that finishes tenure. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Please, can we give a standing ovation for this great leader, His Excellency Engineer David Weze Umahi. Your Excellency, we thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this brings to an end the first stanza of tonight's event as we rearrange to move over to the next stage of tonight's event. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The lamp, please. Hello. Please remember it is not over yet. Please can we be seated so that we move to the next stage. very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Hello. Hello. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome in our midst a distinguished Nigerian and a captain of industry, Chief Chris Uba Eselu. You are welcome to the salt of the nation. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before we take our dinner, we would like to move over to the formal presentations of Jingles competition prizes. Formal presentation of the Jingles competition prizes, and I would like to very humbly at this point invite the chairman who put the competition together, Rex Eze, the general manager, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, the MC, I want to correct an impression. I didn't put up this committee. What I did was to work and evaluate the jingles that were submitted. The Jingles Competition Committee Jingles competition was put up by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Chief David Umahi, and that was implemented through the Office of the Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Senator Emmanuel Onwe. What we did, the 5-member committee did, was simply to carry out an assignment professionally. Thank you. Your Excellency, briefly, I want to say that this committee was inaugurated on the 5th of July, and we are tasked with the assignment of looking at the jingles submitted to promote and also to enlighten and educate the good people of Ebonyi State and other Nigerians on the wonderful achievements of your administration. Part of the criteria for the competition is to encapsulate within 1 minute what you've done in the various sectors of the economy of Ebonyi State. And I want to say that we received a total of 152 audio and audiovisual jingles, and 4 of them were audiovisuals. Your Excellency, 16 of the jingles were not evaluated because they were either bad or could not play. We also had 99 jingles that violated the rules of the competition. And the rules were, one, that the work should be original. Secondly, it should be within 1 minute. Thirdly, it should be in the dialect of Ebonyi State. And as such, 99 of these jingles did not meet this criteria and they were disqualified. During the course of our assignment, we observed that we have an avalanche or abundance of media creativity among the competitors, and probably we also have people with this type of skill outside those who took part in the competition. So I want to say on behalf of members of the committee that in Ebonyi State we have a lot of people who are very creative and who can support the media industry if greater opportunity is provided for them. I think this deserves an applause. Your Excellency, the rating of the jingles were done professionally and we use cumulative average. At the end of the day, 3 people emerged best winners and they are the star prize winners, while we had 10 other people who we consider to have gained the consolation prizes. I know that at this point, those who took part in the competition will have their hearts in their hand, because it is at this point that we are going to release the result. This has not been made known. I don't know whether there is any doctor in the house who will help us as we announce these results for those who take part in the competition to help calm their nerves. Let me, on behalf of members of the committee and with the permission of His Excellency and the Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, give us a rundown of the winners of the 1 million naira Jingle competition instituted by His Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Chief David Umahi. The third prize winner is Mr. Victor Abba. He scored 67%. And we have the second prize winner as Uche Achi Okpaga.
Power to the people, Efambo, Charles B, Abba Victor O.
Okay, this is Oshili Direct. And we are going for the first winner, the star prize winner. I hope. Okay, can we have the second one? The third. thank you very much. That's the second one, and we're going for the star prize winner now. The second person is Uche Achiakwaga. Now we are going for the star winner. And I want to inform us that this work was professionally assessed, and so we did not look at any of the zones the competitors we are coming from or their local government areas. What we did was to assess this job and the work they did professionally. And I want to say that the prize winner is Oguchi Chinedu from Ipo. Is he here, please? Can we give him a Well, thank you. Can we please give him a round of applause? Okay. Second one. Please, can we have a repeat of the second one? Please, can we have a repeat of the second prize winner's work? Please, can we have a repeat of this work of the second prize winner? Uche Achi Obaga. Well, that's the second one. Please, can we have a repeat of the third work done by Abba Victor O? Please, can we have a repeat of the third work, please? By
Power to the people. Okay. F. Calvin B. Abba Victor O.
The House should actually vote. Now, you've heard the first, the last one, second to the last, and the other one. If you are voting for the third one, this one that just finished, that is the best, raise your hand up. Did they hear me well? We are looking for the best. If you believe that this third one is the best, raise your hands up. Okay. Okay. If you believe that the second one is the best, raise your hand up. Okay. If you believe that the other first one is the first, raise your hand up. Okay. So the third person becomes the first. Is that correct? No, the second. The second person becomes the first. The second becomes the first. And the third person becomes second. And the first person becomes third. Those in support say aye. You got it.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. The second one. The second one. The first. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you. While we were doing this assessment, we anticipated this, and we are not surprised that it is coming. Let us now go to the consolation prizes before we announce the prize that are attached to the winners. Sorry. The consolation prizes, we have Nena Okorie, Ogai Beatrice, Solid AC, John Bull, Enu Moses, Ngozi Okike, Udechukwu Agada, Vincent Madoka, Desmond Iboke, and Florence Mwebonyi. These ones won the consolation prizes. And for the prize tags for the star prizes, that is the first, second, and third prizes. The first prize winner is going to go home with 300,000 naira. The second prize winner is going to go home with 200,000 naira. And then the third prize is 150,000 naira. The consolation prizes are 50,000 naira. Your Excellency, we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve, and we want to say that this work really taxed our professional skill even at this point. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Who is the first now? Okay. Yeah. Please, the first prize winner, by the decision of the House now, Uche Asiokbaga, please step forward to take your prize. Is he here? Can please Uche Asiokbaga take his prize? Her Excellency, the wife of the governor, is going to do the presentation. The second prize winner, Victor Abba, is not here. Can please somebody stand on his behalf? And if he's not here, the third prize winner, Oguji Chinedu, please step forward and... okay. All right, this deputy speaker is taking for the second prize winner. The third prize winner, Oguji Chinedu, please step forward and take your prize. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for having performed this task. We appreciate the honor done to us to take up this assignment.
Thank you very much. Please, can we put our hands together for the winners? Thank you very much. Can we also appreciate the losers with a half round of applause? Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's time for dinner. It is on that note that we would like to, with all respect, request Her Excellency, the Mother of the State, to please lead others for dinner. Your Excellency, ma. The lamb.
Yeah.
As we are preparing for the dinner, I want to welcome one of the contestants that, as God may have it, that took the third position. And I want you to walk with me tonight. You're welcome. You will never share your glory with anybody. Jehovah Nissi, that is your name, Jesus. You are the Lord, that is your name. You will never share your glory with any man. You will never share your glory with anybody. Almighty God, that is your name. Father, you are the Lord, that is your name. You will never share your glory with any man. You will never share your glory with anybody. Jehovah Nissi, and that is your name, Jesus. You are the Lord, that is your name. You will never share your glory with any man. You will never share your glory with anybody. Almighty God, that is your Heaven is what it is today because of your mercies. Only you can make a man like David, oh man. Only you can build a man that will move a mountain forward. Ancient of days, that is your name. You did it before in the time of Israelites. You gave them the old David and he led them to the land. Ancient of days, and you did it for his name today. That is what we are singing and praising your name. David is akaka wadabano. Ejere eba akwade ebu yaru. Osisi ebu eba ewere amara chukwu weta. David eka okwurisi golori atolata. Ikidebu ebe obodo ala Ebonyi o. Ebonyi state, the land that was rejected. Surely the rejected stone before is the true cornerstone today. That is the name, oh Lord. You are the Lord. That is your name. You will never share your glory with. You can never share it
Somebody say,
need in the time of sickness. You are our Jehovah Rapha over the state, because we are the redeemed of the Lord. Surely, surely, our case is different. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, our case is different. Our case is different. Our case is different. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, our case is different. Because we are the redeemed of the Lord. His Excellency said, our case is different. Nobody knows us. Our case is different. Listen now, our case is different. Because we are the redeemed of the Lord. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, our case is different. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, our case is different. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, our case is different. Because we are the redeemed of the Lord.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to use this opportunity to invite the cultural troupe to please come forward and perform. We want to first invite Ebonyi State Council for Arts and Culture, the UNO troops, to please come forward for their own performance. Council for Arts and Culture, are you ready? 1, 2, go!
As no blue corner you. Makanekuna promegina ebakota so meginas. Oh God, no be eziokwu. Hey! Iye koko aye, iye koko aye, okoko oko aye, iye koko aye, iye koko aye, aye oko flyover dine ihe na-ekwukwu n'ime ụmụaka na-akpọ gị nụnụ ekado na-ekpa nwe akụba arọ ojebe ejewe ọka eze ọnaba ọnaba ọka na-eze ihe na-ekwukwu ole aka adịghị na-ekpa nwe
Oh God! Ebo baba ha, ụmụaka na-akpọ gị, ndị okenye na-akpọ gị, ụmụ solo na-akpọ gị, ihe mere onye amaghị ka a ga-ekwu, amaghị ka a ga-ekwu gara ibe ya, eka adọwọ n'ịkpa nwe Gaso
Council for Arts and Culture. Let's carry put our hands together for those who go. Thank you. Thank you very much. No joke. Thank you. Osugono. Thank you very much, Council for Arts and Culture. Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Put your hands together for them. Thank you. Thank you very much, Council for Arts and Culture. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we respect Ichengara, please take this announcement. Activities for tomorrow, Saturday, 11 a.m. at Multipurpose Hall, debate competition. At 12 noon, ICC, at Caribbean International Conference Center, lecture series. At 2 p.m., venue Pangalore Stadium, Elders and Widows Party. And on Sunday, 10 a.m. at St. John Paul Catholic Church, Ugwachara, interdenominational church service. At 12 noon, at Bangalore Rota Township Stadium, there will be Governorship Congress. 7 p.m. at Bangalore Rota Township Stadium is Night of Praise. Okay, Night of Praise is on Sunday. Time 7 p.m. On Monday is going to be the grand finale at the Bangalore Rota Township Stadium. It is on that note that I want to invite Ichengara Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of tonight's event. May we rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much. The editors will have group photograph with your excellencies before we leave.
Because I'm the redeemer of the Lord. Surely, everybody, our case is different. Let the redeemer of the Lord say, my case is different. My case is different.
Very much. And it is on these beautiful notes that we have come to the end of this broadcast, and on behalf of the Director General, EBBC Engineer Timothy Nwachi, we want to thank you for staying with us. And we also want to thank the members of the offsite broadcasting crew, Engineer Wotobo, that led that great team. Also, we have Undubisi Ogodo, Thomas Otu, Uchenna Ezi Michael, Emmanuel Aga, Chima Njoku, Emmanuel Ekwe, Eyinnaya John, Ude Ibiam, and not forgetting those at the home base station, Ebere Amadi and Maria Walter, and my humble self, Vivian Faga. We want to thank you for being a part of this 2018 Independence Media Chat at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Abakaliki. As we celebrate Independence Day come Monday, as Ebonyi State will mark 22 years and Nigeria at 58, we want to wish Nigeria and Ebonyi State the best. Ebonyi State is indeed on the rise, and we are grateful to God. Thank you and good night.
Our case is different. Let the redeemer of the Lord say, my case is different. Abundance say, our case is different. Abundance will our case is different. Because we are the redeemer of the Lord. Let the people say, about the people, Lord. His Excellency, your case is different. Because you are the redeemer of the Lord. Echo Baron, your case is different. His Excellency, your case is different. Echo Baron, your case is different. Because you are the redeemer of the Lord. God of Oyede,
of Abioye, God of Adeboye. Surely our case is different. God of Emmanuel Ojo, God of Paul Emeje, God of Dr. Mahobai, Ayuni Soyeyemi. Our case is different. Let the redeem of the Lord say, our case is different. Let the redeem of the Lord say, our case is different. Let the redeem of the Lord say, our case is different. Oh, because we are the redeem of the Lord. The honorable member, incoming honorable member. Ewero beku bekedi Zion. Chinedu odielu obebe mama. Ewero beku bekedi Zion. Ejo na odielu no bebe mama. Kume dielu lelele. Odielu mama. Odielu mama. Kume dielu mama. Odielu mama. Odielu mama. Obebe mama. Kuna Moses kuru mara biri nesi na ya mwa biri kwarore akwaku ya ho pataroria. Ofu biri agbara nenu